Hello and welcome to FGR Racing School. In this video series I'm going to explain some of the tips and tricks behind racing in FR Legends. If at any point you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to ask them in the comments down below, or if you have your own tips, feel free to share them. So part 1 will be talking about some of the basics, stuff like staying on track and such. So let's start. So, staying on track. This is probably the most important part to know. Um, if you know this, if you're pretty consistent, you don't make many mistakes. Even if you're not that fast, you can actually get a pretty high position, or um, you can even get up on the podium. So, uh, number 1, don't trail brake. This basically means that don't brake while you're steering. This can be done, but only really after a lot of training practice. So it can be done, but for a real beginner, I don't recommend that you do it. Of course, you can practice and everything, and you can get it down pretty well. But yeah. So, number 2, beware of lift-off oversteer. That basically means that when you're going into a corner full throttle and you steer in and then you let off the throttle or even brake, then in the most recent update to the physics, now doing that will set your car sliding. So, be aware of that. The third one is really important. This picture actually here, I've tried to draw to kind of explain it better visually. It's basically a certain speed for a certain radius. So basically for a certain radius of a corner you can go a certain speed. And if you go over that speed you start losing grip, which is slow, of course. So as you can see from the picture, taking a wide line through the corner, the blue line, you can go higher speed, which means that your lap time will be better. And going through the red line will give you a slower speed through the corner. You will have to brake more to keep grip and such. The speeds here are just to explain it better. They're not actually based on anything. And the fourth point is watch your speed in corner exit. You can get a little bit too aggressive on a throttle on corner exit, which can set your car sliding, so watch out for that. You can kind of feather the throttle, but of course, as always, practice kind of helps you out, right? So, staying on track. Look out for road imperfections. This is especially true with the curbs and bumps on Gunsai. Curbs, because the curbs can actually launch your car on two wheels, especially this one that is on the picture right here on Grange. It can unsettle your car, so look out for that. Don't attack the curbs too much. Now, on some tracks like Kansai, you can actually like take the curbs pretty harshly, but of course, even before you go into a race, I recommend that you do a few laps around the track. Look out for the spots that are more dangerous and such, and look out for them. So, second point, be smooth with your inputs. This is very important as well to keep grip. I do not recommend using arrows or buttons or whatever, because those controls are just not very smooth. I don't know much about slider controls. I haven't personally used them. I use tilt and it works very well. Most other people that I know that drive use tilt, so I'd recommend using that. Third point, keep your wheels on tarmac or the road. This is important. When you're going into the corner, you ideally the racing line wants you to go from the outside of the corner to the inside to the outside. You know, basic stuff. But you can't start the corner from too outside, because if you have two wheels off the tarmac, your car can start sliding. Yes, same with braking, I've noticed. So yeah, look out for that. And again, most important thing, practice, look out, test out the different tracks, look what driving style suits them. For example, Gunzai, it's very different from all other tracks, just because it's so bumpy and you need to kind of know where the bumps are, so you can look out for them. So yeah. Now, recovering from a slide. Now, say that you did get into a slide. This is how to recover from it. Apply the brakes and counter steer. This is, pretty basic stuff. If you do break into a slide, counter steer. Now, you don't have to apply the brakes every time, although it is recommended, especially in like lower speed corners where losing some speed isn't that bad. But if you're taking, for example, Lurvendale, the oval track, and you're in the big banked corners, really getting on the brakes can really kill your speed, and that can be really bad. And yeah, again, try it out in practice. Just look what corner lines and stuff like that work. So yeah. In case of lift-off oversteer, don't touch the throttle before you stop sliding. If you ever encountered lift-off oversteer, you can notice that it isn't like normal sliding, in a sense, because you can't really spin out, and the car you almost feel like understeer. Um, and for that, you don't even really have to apply the brakes, just counter steer if you can. But of course, with some corners on some tracks, they can be so tight that counter steering just takes you off the track, and that's not good, since on the grass you don't really have a lot of grip. So thanks for watching part 1. Um, this is probably going to be part of a playlist, so you're probably now going to be seeing the other part as well.